Good morning. Thank you for joining me for some morning wake-up yoga for beginners. Let's begin in this seated position and just bring our soles of the feet to touch. Take the heels a little bit further away from the pubic bone just so it's a little bit easier to get into this first thing in the morning. Rest your hands on your shins. Take a big breath in to lengthen the spine up. So feel the chest lift and the shoulder blades draw down the back. And on the exhale, just hinge at the hips. Using your arms to push the knees down, just hinge and come forward, lengthening your chest forward, shoulder blades down. Good, and then you can move your hands to ankles if that's a little bit easier for you, and try to kind of pull up with the hands and lengthen forward. And then once you find your full length, go ahead and just drape your head down. Bring your forehead down to the arches of your feet. No forcing or anything, just finding a nice lengthening to the spine. This is a really great opportunity to tune into your bandhas, the locks. And so the Uddiyana Bandha, drawing your navel towards the spine, and your Mula Bandha squeezing the pelvic floor. So feeling that lift and that connection as you rest your awareness on the breath. So every breath in, find a long, long breath in and long spine. And on the exhale, a deeper connectivity or engagement. Maybe the bandhas engage more, maybe your chin comes to your chest more, or maybe there's the weight of the head as it rests on the arches of the feet. And just stay here and take 3 long, slow, deep breaths. So inhale, fill, exhale, empty. As you empty, feel navel drawing towards the spine. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Draw belly button toward your spine as you start to roll yourself back up to a seated position. The head is the heaviest and the last to come up, stacking your head over your ribs, which are over your pelvis for your posture, perfect posture. Good, use your hands to help the knees come in, just draw them in, and we're gonna come and find our way into a child's pose. So if you can, bring the knees to touch and the big toes to touch and sit back onto the heels. If you need to take your knees slightly open, that's okay too. Right now we're gonna go into a lower back stretch. So extend the arms forward and draw navel to your spine. And crawl your hands forward a little bit more, opening the armpits to the mat. And then turn your biceps up to the ceiling so you don't impinge your shoulders. And take sit bones and tailbone heavy so it grounds into the heels. Take 3 breaths here. Inhale. Find the lengthening of the spine. Maybe crawl your hands forward more. Exhale, there's always a deeper connectivity or engagement. So maybe pressing finger pads down and trying to pull back, like this tractioning action. The hands don't actually move. Inhale. Find length. I crawl my hands forward even more as I find that length. Exhale, deeper connectivity. Maybe draw navel to your spine. Maybe sit bones heavier onto the heels. Maybe biceps up. One more. Inhale, ears between the biceps. Exhale. Now we're going to walk our hands over to the right. I'm going to change my pose orientation here for some of you who might want to see. Walk your hands over to the right. When your chest is over that right thigh, walk your left hand away at a diagonal even more. Bend your right arm and tense your right fingers, and so you're tented on your finger pads. Walk your left hand forward even more. Pull shoulder blade down the back by pushing finger pads into the mat and trying to pull back. Your shoulder blade will plug down the back. Now you can externally rotate your left shoulder, so take left bicep and sprawl to the left. Now push down through the right hand and revolve your chest open to the right. Breath in, find length. Breath out, a little deeper engagement. So push into right hand as you revolve your chest, drawing navel to your spine. One more breath, inhale. Maybe crawl your left hand forward more. Exhale. Keep externally rotating that left shoulder. So bicep spiraling to the left. Now try to keep your left hand exactly where it is. As you slide your left heel, hit your sit bone off of that left heel. Try to aim it towards the mat. It's probably not going to reach because you're not going to let your left hand slide back. And just continue to drive into the right hand to revolve chest deeper. Draw navel to your spine and break the pose. Walk it back through center and to the other side. And again, once the chest is over that left thigh, walk the right hand away from you. Good, and really find that length. Tense your left fingers and revolve the chest. Breath in and breath out. You should feel your right armpit opening to the mat. The right bicep externally rotating to the right. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale. You can rest your right ear on your right bicep. Exhale. Sliding the right sit bone off that heel without letting the right hand slide back. Feel that side body stretch. It's actually getting into that QL muscle, the quadratus lumborum, our lower back muscle that is often tight. Good. One more big breath in together. Exhale, revolve the chest to the left. Okay, good. And walk it back to center and go ahead and come to seated. We're going to plant our hands down and come into a tabletop position. Driving down through the hands, spiral the biceps forward and draw navel up to the sky like it's on a thread and it's pulling up. Good, heavy tailbone, and visualize the hip bones curling towards your lower ribs. And then we're going to shift forward and pause. Push down through finger pads to really protect the wrist as we warm the wrist up with straight arms. Feel like the chest is pulling through the gateways of the arms, and then shift back. As we shift forward, I want you to feel a hollowing and scooping the belly, a protraction of the shoulder blades, a spiraling forward of the biceps as the shoulders move beyond the wrist. Pause and back. Good. And again, one more time, hollow scoop the belly and feel this wavy movement and motion as you take the shoulders forward of the wrist and back. Good. Tuck your toes under, lift the hips up and back. So in downward facing dog, just start to pedal the feet out, one heel at a time. And then now we're going to be more intentional. So bend your left leg and drive your right heel into the mat, lifting the 5 toes. Drive your finger pads in all 3 rows of knuckles. Those are the knuckles, first row under the fingernails, second row in the middle of the fingers where you bend mostly, and then the knuckles on your hands. Drive the whole of the palm down and forward. Feel that power and that energy as you extend forward with the hands and open armpits to the mat. Pull your shoulder blades down and take your biceps up to the ceiling. You should feel this activation at the bottom of your shoulder blades, this wrapping around sensation. Good, and take tailbone up and drive right heel down. If you can, even lift through the kneecaps. Good, and change. Bend your right leg and straighten the left. Again, heel down, tailbone up. Heel down, lift through the kneecaps. Heel down, curl pubic bone up to sky as you keep pushing down and forward, feeling the long side body and side waist. Good, and break the pose. Go ahead and walk the feet out, pedal it out, walk the little doggy out. Good. And then now here, stay in downward facing dog for 3 breaths. The feet are hip width apart. Now take your heels a little bit wider so you're pigeon-toed. Softly bend the knees. Continue to drive hands, the whole of the palm and the fingers, everything. Push down and forward, take biceps up, and then find that long side body, side waist. From the tip of the middle fingers to your tailbone, it's one straight line. Now, curl tailbone up and start to straighten the legs. Tailbone keeps curling up, pubic bone keeps curling up, and then drive the heels down. They might not touch down today, but that's okay. If you keep practicing daily, they will. Continue to spiral biceps up. Feel yourself opening armpits to the mat. Draw navel in. And here, importantly, knit your ribs together and find a long middle back. Usually people just collapse the ribs down too much. Good, and then if you can, start to drop through the kneecaps and take your inner thighs, inner knees back. Drive inside of the heels down into the mat and lift inner ankles to fire up inner thighs. Squeeze palms towards each other, inner elbows and armpits for a super engaged downward facing dog. On the inhale, sweep your left leg up, squeeze and firm it, lift up high on the balls of the right foot. Look forward and shift the shoulders over the wrist. Bring your thigh to your chest and lengthen your tailbone towards your right heel. Stay here. Breathing in, find length in the body, and breathing out, drive your hands into the mat. Feel your chest lift. Feel the shoulder blades spread apart in protraction as that heel goes long towards your right heel. Good, and then step your left foot outside your left hand and look forward. You can slide your right leg back a little bit and squeeze and firm thigh and glute and give it a little bounce. Very nice. Now go ahead, if you have blocks, take your blocks the tall way. The blocks go right on the inside of your left foot, and lightly place your hands on the blocks, and these help us lift the upper body. Squeeze and firm the right thigh and glute and give it a little bounce. This is so incredible to open up that right hip flexor area. The more vertical our body can be, the more the hips can open. Now maybe bring the blocks back a little bit more so the front edge of the blocks are in line with the back heel. Good, and lightly on the fingertips as you drive down through left heel and pull the left hip crease back and look forward. Good, and then maybe one breath you come up into high lunge. Squeeze and firm right thigh and glute. You can keep your hands on your hips if you want. Square hips and chest. Those are headlights on a truck and they all have to be pointing forward. Bend deeply into the left leg, maybe get it to 90 degrees and start to squeeze your right thigh and glute massively. Good, and squeeze and straighten that leg. Maybe float your arms up. Inhale, lift out of the waist and arch back. Exhale, deeper engagement, activation, so firm right thigh and glute. One more, inhale. You want to lift out of the waist and reach back with straighter arms and straighter fingertips. Exhale, left hip crease back and squeezing to the right. Very nice, okay? Breaking the pose. Put the blocks off to the side and plant your right hand down. Fingertips in line with the left toe tips. Drop your left hip, lift the right hip and sweep your left arm open for a true twist. Push down to the right hand, that's the power right there. Rear right bicep sprawls forward and look up to your left thumbnail. Good, squeeze your left shoulder blade towards the spine and pull it down the back and break the pose. Very nice. Left hand down and go ahead and step it back into high plank. Biceps forward, squeeze everything to the center line, shift the shoulders forward the wrists and drop the knees down. Inhale, you're gonna bend the elbows straight back. They're gonna brush against the ribs. Exhale, straighten for 1. 2 more. Inhale, bend the hips, stay up and the belly stays up, right? So you're a diagonal line, you don't drop the hips down and the belly down like a banana for 2. Inhale, bend, and exhale, 3. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, lift up high on the balls of the left foot. Squeeze and firm the right thigh and glute. Look forward. Bring your thigh to your chest and take that tailbone long. Glue the thigh to your chest and get the shoulders over the wrist and drive hands down to feel the shoulder blades spread apart in protraction. Step the right foot outside your right hand. Good, and slide the left foot back a little as you lower the hips down. Squeeze and firm that left thigh glute, give it a little bounce. And when you're ready, you can grab the blocks and take it to the inside of the right foot. Here, we're just trying to lift the upper body more vertically. Squeeze and firm left thigh glute and give it a little bounce. Very nice, okay, good. And then when you're ready, pull the right hip crease back and squeeze the left, drive through the right heel, and light as a feather, float up with your real engagement, right? You're not dumping into the joints. Take the arms up, we have 2 breaths here. Inhale, lift out of the waist, reach back. Exhale, squeeze your left thigh and glute. Inhale and exhale. Find a deeper activation, a deeper connectivity with that exhale. Stay strong in that right heel. Good, and try to straighten the left leg. and break the pose. Putting the blocks off to the side, plant your left hand down and sweep your right arm open. Good, revolve the chest, drop right hip, lift left, and twist. Squeeze your shoulder blades together towards the spine and plug them down the back and break the pose. Right hand down and go ahead and step it back. Shift it forward, knees down, inhale, bend, exhale, straighten 1. Inhale, bend, exhale, straighten 2. Inhale, bend, exhale, straighten for 3. Go ahead and take it into downward facing dog. Very nice, coming down onto your knees. We're going to come into a headstand. So beginner's headstand is Shastakasana, bring the crown of the head to the mat. Crown of the head you find by placing your thumb in between the eyebrows, and wherever the middle finger lands, that's the crown of your head. Place that down. Good, and then take the knees under the hips and take them hip width apart, so stacking of the joints. Extend your arms alongside you, palms up. Notice your belly, draw it in for your Uddiyana Bandha, your belly lock, and stay here. You may close your eyes if you choose, and just focus on the space between the eyebrows. We're stimulating the pituitary glands to calm the nervous system. And break the pose, just sitting back onto your heels in child's pose. You can extend your arms forward if you wish, or take them alongside you. And breaking the pose. Okay, very nice. Come to seated, and we're gonna take our right knee on top of the left for a little hip stretch. The further you walk the feet away from each other and further forward, the more it's stretching this outer hip. Very nice, okay? Shoelace pose. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, hinge and take it forward. You want to have a straight spine, and then at the last possible minute, go ahead and drape the head down. The weight of the chest, the weight of the body, pressing on the legs really helps to get a deeper stretch to the outer hips. Notice your bandhas, draw navel in and squeeze the pelvic floor. Allow the head to surrender completely and break the pose. Rising up, and we're gonna switch to other side. So the right leg is underneath and the left leg on top. I like to come forward a little bit and just kind of push this knee over a little bit and then sit back. All right, flex the feet to protect the knees. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, hinge and take it forward. Drawing navel to your spine and draping the body over that thigh. Allow the body to be heavy and break the pose. Very nice. Okay, at the top of the mat, from here, we're gonna roll it back into plow pose. So in the beginning, if the spine is tight, you might not be able to touch your feet down, but just do the best you can. But don't turn your head anymore to the side when we roll back, okay? So go ahead, roll back, and see if you can take the legs overhead. If they have to bend, that's okay. Go wherever you can. Maybe you're just part way, but stay here. Bend the knees if you can, and then plant the arms down. Anchor your spine one vertebra at a time. The legs are together, and right before they land on the mat, you squeeze your shoulder blades together, arch it back, and bring the crown of the head to the mat in fish pose, Matsyasana. This is just to counter what we just did with the plow pose. And break the pose. Very nice. Okay, stay on your back. Draw your right thigh to your chest and shift the hips over to the right. Drop your right leg over to the left, and you should be on axis, so the body is in line with the left leg. And then rotate and revolve your chest so that you could ground your right shoulder down to the mat. Extend your right arm out and look at your right fingertips. Taking the left hand, traction that right hip crease towards your feet so you're not scrunching your side body. And then gently with the hand, maybe traction that right leg down towards the mat. But the first priority is the right shoulder down. Draw navel to your spine to break the pose. We're gonna go to the other side. So left side to your chest, shift the hips over to the left and go ahead. Drop that left knee over, revolve your chest, extend the arm out. Look at your left fingertips. The left arm extends out at shoulder height. Remember to lengthen the left hip crease away from you towards your feet and revolve. And break the pose. Very nice. Okay, staying on your backs, extending legs out, send the heels to the corners of the mat. Take a big breath in as you squeeze and engage every muscle in the body. And a big breath out, lion's breath, tongue to your chin. Ha! Inhale, squeeze in. And this time we're just gonna sigh it out. Ha! So offer your beautiful morning practice up to someone you love. Honor that dedication and honor your commitment on this amazing journey together. Om Shanti, 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 Namaste. Please stay in Shavasana for as long as you can to rest and restore the body and the mind.